I'm Brad Kunz, and my wife just put the boys to bed.
Yeah, it's Prezi.
Perfect.
Yeah. I know we taking a dub, cause I've been dying to win. We champions, we champions. Eyes on the prize, cause I know that it is mine to win. We champions, we champions.
All right, so it's Friday night in quarantine, and I hope you guys are having a good night. Friday night means football Friday. All right, while my wife's putting the boys to bed. And tonight we are very excited to have our first college coach coming on to talk about a lot of different things going on with quarantine. Okay, and so I like the production standpoint of doing a YouTube video and a YouTube channel. I am not big on Skyping or doing live, so because I like to look crisp and I want the right answer. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to catch anybody off guard. And let's be honest, even in this quarantine, when you got kids, you can't call somebody on the phone and not get the phone ripped out of your hand and do an interview. Come on. So I sent our guest some questions. Okay, our first guest is going to be the wide receiver coach for the NIU Huskies, Tony Sorrentino.
Coach Kunz, what's going on? Coach Sorrentino here from NIU. Thanks for having me on. I know your wife is putting the boys to bed.
And Coach Sorrentino, you guys got to know this because I get to experience it firsthand when he's out in the buildings recruiting. Just a phenomenal guy. And he's somebody you want to sit down with and talk ball to. And I'm really lucky to have a good relationship with him through this time. The things going on at NIU are pretty awesome right now. So I'm excited. He is our recruiter. And the first question I asked him, because every day is a different story in this quarantine, or every day is the same story in this quarantine. But I asked him if there's something positive about what's going on right now, what is it? Okay, obviously there's a lot of negative going on. What are some positives we can cling to during this time?
It's tough to say there's been positives out of what's been going on, but for the quarantine aspect of things, a positive that has come out is, coaches are able to work from home a lot more, so they're around their families, which is always a plus. Normally, we'd have spring ball, which takes up a crazy amount of time, and then you hit the road recruiting right away. So with this quarantine happening, coaches are able to work from home and be around, and be husbands and be fathers, which is obviously always a good thing. The other thing it's been able to do is we could take a step back and really collaborate with other coaches, whether it be for us, all our NFL connections, other college coaches, high school coaches, see how they do things, see how they teach a certain thing, and just get different tidbits from different people and be able to implement them into what we want to do. I know for me, I love talking ball always and just talking to guys, whoever I've coached or coached with or things like that, and see what they do and try to get better every day. I'm all about constant, never-ending self-improvement.
Like I said, Coach is sharp. He's right on the money with things, and he's got his priorities in order. And the next question I asked is, what's something that is going on during this quarantine with his program that's successful, and or something personal that's successful right now that that he can kind of cling to and be excited about during this time period.
I think for us at NIU, we've got a great head coach in Thomas Hammock, and he has a plan, and he's implemented that plan every day since we've been here. And the coaches and the team, administration, and the culture has completely bought in to his plan. So nothing has really changed too much from us in the program-wise, except the fact that we didn't have spring ball, and our players are home and coaches are home. But our plan is our plan, and we're going to execute it. We are executing it, and we're excited about the future and the 2020 season and seasons on after that.
Right off the bat, I can tell you that he is 100% right. Coach Hammock is a phenomenal guy and is doing great things to get that program rolling. The other thing I can say is that, as a head coach, to know that your players and your coaches are bought in like that, that's a phenomenal thing. So having a plan and sticking to it and knowing that the people around you are speaking the same language that you are, it's a good situation right there. So the next question I had is, when all this is over and we're back to normalcy, whatever normalcy looks like, what's one thing that you're looking forward to getting back to your program? And, I asked Coach, like, what is it that, kind of gets him through this when he needs something to think about in the future, in order to see the positive, see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I can't wait for things to get back to normal. One of the things that I miss and I can't wait for to happen is for our players to get back on campus. Just the energy and the juice and the excitement that they bring every day to the building is enormous. I'm excited to get back to training, to lifting, to working out, to practice, to meeting time. The game day atmosphere. Excited to have recruits and their families on campus. Just excited to get back to the normal. The grind of being a college football coach, but obviously, and also a college football player, and just having the excitement and the juice that's missing right now. Just to be, get around people and have the community fired up about NIU Husky football. That's the stuff that I'm excited for, and hopefully it's happens sooner than later.
Just like Coach, if there's one thing I miss right now, it's the energy that I had when I was around the guys, and the energy that they had that allowed me to do things that normally I would not have the energy to do. But when you have a group of guys that you care about and you want to work hard for, and they want to work hard for you, you can do things that you didn't normally have energy for, things that you wouldn't normally do. And he hit it right on the head. That's what I miss too. I miss going to that building, seeing those guys, seeing my students, all of that is what we're missing right now. So this final part is probably my favorite thing that we have an opportunity to do right now. And my fourth question is to Coach Sorrentino. And he's my first guest. Obviously, he's the wide receiver coach for NIU. But my question to him was, if these camps are going to, not happen in the summer, as a wide receivers coach at the FBS level, what is it that guys in high school can do right now to help them get better and to put them in a position, if you were a guy and you were getting camp evaluated and now there's no camp, what is that going to look like? Is there anything specific that, a guy that's a good wide receiver can do to kind of move up the list, or at least get on the list, or if nothing else, show they belong?
The reason why I love camp so much in the summer is one thing. It's the competition aspect. Okay, so if we don't have that this summer, how do we replace that competition aspect? Well, we're going to rely heavily on high school coaches' recommendations. We're going to rely heavily on other sports that they've played or have done. If they don't play other sports, obviously that's okay. How do they compete in the weight room? How do they compete in the classroom? Okay, how do they compete when the game is on the line? Do they want the ball? For me, as a receivers guy, I want to know how fast they are, right? Can they run good routes? Are they coachable? Can they catch? Can they make the play with the ball in their hand, right? Can they make guys miss in space? All those different things that we would see at camp, we want to see that you might not necessarily get to see on film for whatever reason, but going forward, we want to just see their competition. Do they love football? All those kind of things I think is important, because we're not going to have that camp atmosphere to see them. But we're not going to panic, and we're going to trust our evaluation.
All right. Thanks again, Coach. That was awesome. Thanks for the insight. That's going to be helpful for especially these 2021s that are at home wondering right now that, after all that time of, different people telling them, like, oh, we can't wait to get you at camp and see what you can do, and possibly not having an opportunity. They need to know how to handle that and how to go about continuing to have a shot to do big things. And so I appreciate that. As you know, Coach, I recruiting's huge for me. I do everything I can for my players to get them to the next level. I mean, we might have like 2 or 3 more guys, but at Plainfield East, we had 13 guys right now that are committed to play college ball, and that's pretty good. I don't know if there's anybody else that can match that. So again, Coach, you know, he's had a lot of experience. Coach Sorrentino's had a lot of experience in different places, you know, kind of working his way up to an awesome place here with Coach Hammock at NIU. Was a tight ends coach there last year. Now he's a wide receivers coach. Previously, he was at FAU as the director of football operations. He was at Minnesota. And I think his best probably experience was probably the year that he had as the graduate assistant at the University of Miami. All right. They've put out some pretty darn good graduate assistants, such as Mario Cristobal, head coach at Oregon. All right. He was a graduate assistant when I was playing. So big things ahead for Coach Sorrentino. I'm really glad that he's our recruiting area coach. He recruits the Catholic League as well as the South and Southwest Chicago suburbs. And so really glad to have you on tonight, Coach. And thanks everybody that watched. All right. So my wife is done putting the boys to bed. I think they're asleep. So we're probably going to watch some shows. But I want to kind of introduce to you a new idea that we have. And it's called the Ultimate Tournament of Stories. And so we're going to have a Twitter vote. And you know what? I'm going to have to go to the chalkboard to draw this up for you. What? Oh, hey. So, as you can see, I got something cooking up here. Now, on this station, I'm going to talk about a lot of different things. And to kind of kick it off, what we're going to do is we're going to have a bracketology of stories. And these stories are going to be things that have happened in my life. The thing you're going to find out with this channel is that it's going to be about a lot of different random things, but it's all going to tie together. All right. And I believe that we all have a purpose. We all have a plan in life. And I'm never going to have a chance to sit down and write out my whole story of my life. That's not something I'm going to do. But telling 64 stories about my life, that if nothing else, someday my kids can hear them, I'm okay with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a Twitter vote. I'm going to have a bracket. There's going to be some obscure names of what these stories are. And then we'll have a vote. And on Twitter, we'll have the vote. And whichever one loses, that's the story that gets told. So I'm very excited about this. And I hope you guys vote. And I hope you guys enjoy the stories. Okay, I think my wife's done putting the boys to bed. I gotta go. Peace.
Yeah, it's Prezi. Perfect. Yeah. I know we taking a dub, cause I've been dying to win. We champions. We champions. Eyes on the prize, cause I know that it is mine to win. We champions. We champions. I know we taking a dub, cause I've been dying to win. We champions. We champions. Eyes on the prize, cause I know that it is mine to win. We champions.
Okay, so we just finished watching our shows and my wife went to bed. So I want to remind you, when it comes time, vote for the Ultimate Tournament of Story Time. That's what I'm going to call it, Ultimate Tournament of Story Time. And remember, don't tell my wife about this YouTube channel, but make sure you follow and subscribe. Peace.